Sorry guys about that. I had too many windows open and it just kind of shut itself off. But obviously I was talking about how to build a good habit to be able to follow for the rest of your life for fitness purpose. And throughout my careers, I was saying when I created systems and routines for individuals, I put it in a way that it not only made sense for them to be able to follow that path properly and correctly, and if you can create something for yourself and then just write it all down, so that you will be able to continuously do it, and especially if you write it down, you can see it, that where the problem's coming from. So for workout habits, because most people, they usually don't have, they always tell me that they don't have time. So it's even more important, to use your time correctly and properly to be able to find time for gym and being able to eat correctly and properly. It takes time to cook for yourself. You have to find time to at least cook 3 times a week. And those are the things that later on down the road your children will learn from you, because if you want to build a habit, it has to start with you as a parent. Later on down the road, a lot of people could get benefit out of it. What I'm saying by that is other people will start looking at your habit, and that's going to inspire them, and then they're going to start doing it. And especially if you have kids look up to you, and they always want to follow your path. So it's very important for you to build those habits correctly and properly, so that way your kids will be able to follow those habits later on and then hand it to their kids, which is very important. One thing about me, when I created systems and routines and everything that I did for weight loss or getting people leaned out, it was just basically based on structuring something like that for them, so that way they will be able to follow that. But as I was saying to you guys, if you can't do it yourself, then it's going to be important to seek professional help from a good trainer to be able to structure a system or a routine for you that it makes sense, and unfortunately, as I said that before in the past, there's not a lot of trainers that have that knowledge. It's kind of a karaoke type of a trainer that they get you to jump up and down, and maybe to a certain degree you can drop weights, and after that, that's just the end of it, because they didn't build a structure or platform for you to be able to follow safely and effectively, and because most of the time the trainers themselves need a trainer. They look horrible, some of them are 40-50 pound overweight. So how are you going to trust someone that they can't even do it for themselves, that are going to do it for you? So it's very important that if you are looking for professional help, to be able to do your research, talk to those individual trainers, client, that they know what they're talking about, because a lot of them will sell you a dream, and then that dream could become a nightmare. It could become a nightmare based on many different things. Number one, they can hook you up in a very long contract, and then now you're gonna have to pay for that for 4 or 5 years, and if you don't pay for it, they're gonna mess up your credit. And number two, they can injure you. They can cause damage to your joint, to the tendons, to the muscle itself. So it's very important to do your due diligence and do your research, and make sure you hire a good trainer if you decide that you want to go that route. Other than that, there's so many different videos on YouTube that you can do your own research. A lot of people are doing that in order to be able to learn those exercises, or their nutrition, or cardiovascular, or whatever it is that they want to do. So once again, to build a healthy habit, it takes time, but you have to have a proper platform in order for you to be able to follow it. That's the reality of it is, if you don't have a proper system that is set up for you, 99 out of 100, you're gonna fail, because you just simply don't know what you're doing, and then you're gonna jump from this to that to that. But if you write it down, okay, in the morning when I get up, I'm gonna do my cardio, or this is the type of food I'm gonna eat, and this is gonna be my caloric intake, and then what's the input and output is going to be, and all that could be measured very, very easily. They have different type of measuring system now. You have Apple Watch, you got this and that. It literally shows how much calorie body is burning. So there's no excuse. And I know, unfortunately, a lot of people they always they complain about they don't have enough time. They don't have enough time. They don't have enough time. But guys, without you, the rest of it really doesn't mean anything. You have to find time, because if you go with that type of a mentality that you just simply don't have time, then that's what your kid's gonna learn, and then their kid's gonna learn, and then next thing you know, we get caught in that situation of work, and just don't put enough time into ourselves. And later on down the road, when something happens, we try to figure out what just exactly happened. Well, what happened is that you overwork your body and you just didn't give it the proper nutrition in conjunction together with other things that it needs, such as cardio, strength training, and once again, food, because food is going to take sort of kind of some of your time. Because without the food part of it, the rest of it really doesn't mean anything. So you have to, again, build a habit before you reach how you're going to say, well, is this thing really worth it? Is this thing really, what's the good coming out of that? The thing is that I see most people, when they go to fast food, they spend anywhere from 10 to 15 bucks each time. And some of them go to fast food 2-3 times a day, man. That's 40 bucks a day. You know what I'm saying? $280 a week, and it just is ridiculous to me. What you can do with that much money if you just go to Sprouts or find a proper farm to be able to spend that kind of a money in real foods, and then it's gonna really come down to time. Cooking it. You have to find time for it. I usually try to prepare twice a week. If not, I definitely prepare once a week, and that usually takes about 3 hours or so. But so what? Look, number one, look at the amount of money you're saving. Number two, look at the amount of garbage that you're not eating. And number three, you know exactly what goes in your body, which is more important than anything else. You're the captain of your own ship. You're the one who's creating the food. You're the one who's going grocery shopping and making sure that food that you're getting is perfect for your body. So all the way around, I don't care, man. I don't care. And what restaurant you go and how healthy you think your stuff is gonna be, or your food and stuff like that. I promise you, it's not going to be that as healthy as you can do yourself. It's on the spray, so I don't get burned. So to build a healthy habit, you have to structure yourself correctly and properly. You got to know exactly, what kind of food you're going to be taking. Your intake is going to be. You have to do your cardio, and obviously your strength training. And when you build that and you get results out of it, and you see the power of it and the kind of energy that it gives you, then I promise you, you're not going to be, thinking like that again. Because I always tell people, without you, really, the rest of it doesn't mean anything. I'm none of it, including your kids and your husband or your wife or whoever else. Because without you, if you're not around, the rest of it really doesn't matter. So you have to take care of yourself in order to be able to not only provide for your kids, but also to be able to build a system or a structure so that they can follow, because they're going to follow your path ultimately. It's you're the parents, you have to build and establish that. I always say that to people. So you have to write everything down. You got to know what the goal is. You have to know exactly what you want to accomplish, if it's weight loss, if it's building a healthy habit, because actually this video was all about healthy habit building, especially in nutrition, food, and cardiovascular, because most people, they are so surrounded by work and constantly trying to have that big house and show themselves in $1 million house and stuff like that, that they completely forget about maybe downsizing it a little bit and spend some of that time or that money into things that really matters, which building these healthy habits, because in the long term, neither a house or expensive car is going to help you, but what you put in your mouth definitely will. And that's what your kids, your children, and everybody else is also going to learn from you. And those habits are very, very, very important, because we are looking at things in the long term, not in a short term. If you look at it in a short term, yeah, people get in shape, and so that they can go and show off a little bit. They can go to the beach, or they can, maybe they have got a new boyfriend or girlfriend, and now they just want to look halfway decent around that. That's just not a habit, man. That's a quick fix which will never work. A habit should be for yourself. A habit should be for your kids. A habit should be something that you're gonna build and structure so that your kids and the rest of your family can follow. It's not that you just get in shape to show off for a few months, and after that you let it go and that's the end of it. So I always say it's very, very important, number one, to find time for yourself. Number two, it's very important to build those habits. Those habits are not just being built overnight, but if you structure it correctly and properly, and if you set it up, like I said, you write it down, and then so that way you can follow it, then it could become a habit, because most people, as I always say, they say that they just don't have the time. You're gonna have to find time for it, people. If you have to get up an hour early in the morning to be able to go and hit the gym, or bring the gym to your house, it's very simple, then bring everything to your house and do it. So there's no excuse not to build those type of habits, because ultimately later on, once again, as I say, the rest of it really doesn't matter without you. When I usually talk about stuff like that, I don't script it. Whatever is in my heart, it just comes out and I say it. So I was just sitting out here looking at this beautiful view, and then I thought that, I'll just open my mouth and whatever come out, I'll just say it, and that's the way I usually am. But being around the fitness industry for so long and teaching and preaching all my life, it just comes naturally. It's very simple, and that's been my passion all my life, and one of the main reasons that I was so successful in that industry is because I cared about people above all, above the corporations and above their greed of just constantly ripping people off, and building a type of a system, and teaching, educating their trainers how to, giving classes, how to just literally rip people off and keep them dumb and stupid, so that way they can not learn too much from you, and you can keep signing them. So there's, unfortunately, you got that kind of a garbage in the system also, which I witnessed firsthand working for the largest fitness organization in this country. Been being around it for 40 years. We have a lot of trash and garbage also, like I said, but and then it's your responsibility to learn those things, so that way you can do it yourself. I trained so many people that later on down the road they just follow that forever. I remember I trained a couple. I'm gonna go and post that video. Actually, it was a husband and wife. They both were teachers in University of Tampa. And these guys were like a sponge, man. You're like a sponge. Everything that I showed them, writing it down, and the next day they would do it. By the time that they were done with that 8 week, they both not only accomplished their goal, but they were so happy because, well, as a teacher, they understand the importance of the habit, or what I'm telling you, or how to build and structure that, because that's what they do for a living. They set and structure systems for students to be able to do that, right? So for them it was incredible. I was saying that, right? So 8 weeks later, obviously they didn't reassign with me, and I really didn't want them to reassign with me either, because they were good to go. I know that, just like the majority of the clients, I know that usually after that 8 weeks, and sometimes they reassign because they just want to continuously be trained by me, and they want somebody there. But most of the time, within that 8 weeks after I train them, that was the end of it. I structured it for them that they will be able to follow it for the rest of their life. And because if the client didn't get the results, I always I blamed myself, because I feel like I'm the one who failed them. And 99 out of 100 of the hundreds or thousands of people that I trained throughout my career, they all accomplished their goal 100%. They hit their goal 100% except 2 people. And then obviously one of them only showed up twice. And then the other one was just not listening. you know, and if somebody don't listen, then you can't help that. But the rest of those people, they all got 110% results, and some of them even that I saw many years that I was saying later, they still look incredible. So that's like kind of a success story. That's because the system was structured properly for them. You know, their workouts, their nutrition, their cardiovascular, their caloric intake, micro macronutrient, all that stuff was designed and structured for them, so that way they don't fail, number one, and number two, they can safely and effectively will be able to follow that for the rest of their life. So that's my 2 cents to you guys. The rest of it really doesn't matter. Build a good habit. You know, I'm talking about health and fitness. Later on down the road, it can really help you with so many other things. You know, I mean, when I go to the gym, it doesn't matter what's in my mind, what's in my head. When I spend that hour and a half to 2 hours down there, you know, it not only obviously it keeps me in shape, but it kind of gives me an even better peace of mind. You kind of sweat a little bit. You know, if you got any kind of aggression or anything like that somebody, you know, maybe kind of made you upset throughout the day, you can take it all out there. You know what I'm saying? So, and later on down the road, once when you build and set all that up, you will see so much other goodness comes out of it. You know, and just, you know, looking halfway decent or looking ripped and looking good, people automatically gives you respect. You know, as soon as they look at you, they give you the respect. They look at you, they nod at you, and they respect you as a whole, you know, because they know that that individual has been taking care of themselves. It's not that, you know, they had to get a Botox there and a liposuction there, and because that's all temporary. Don't ever forget that, you know, even if you get a tummy tuck and all the rest of that stuff, don't never forget, people, that is all temporary. You might look good for a short period of time, you might look good for a little while, but in the long term, you can't hide those things. You can't, you know. Not only is it gonna come back 10-fold strong, you know. So I'm always about doing things properly and through food and nutrition, through different seasoning, build a proper habit, and do not wait until I always say that to people. New Year resolution doesn't work, people. It never will work. Your New Year resolution should be the day that whatever it is that you want to do, it comes in your head. That's when your New Year resolution should start right at that time. So don't wait for no New Year resolution. Get up and do something about it. Build and structure a platform for yourself that it makes sense. Write everything down, you know, so that way you know exactly how to follow it. Find out exactly how much calorie you're burning. Get yourself a good watch, so that way you know how much your caloric burn throughout the day is, and then make adjustment based on that. We are in the 20th century, people. This is a time of science, man, you know, so there's no reason, there's no excuse. There's no excuse, because everything could be measured in a way that 100% not only it makes sense, but also you can get results out of it, because ultimately it's all about results. So I hope this made some sense. As I said, I did not prepare for this. I never prepare. Whatever that I said comes from heart. I have said it so many times to so many clients and so many people. I usually take people out grocery shopping, so that way they can learn exactly what to eat and how to you know, set all that up for them. And so as a trainer or someone who cared about people and was so successful in this industry, it was, you know, for me, I did everything from my heart. You know, as I said originally from the beginning, I didn't do it to make more money for the corporate or even put more money in my pocket. I did it to make sure that individuals get results, because I knew that once when they get results, the rest of it is just word of mouth, you know. And most people don't think like that. They just simply want to go and drain that individual, you know. And then after a while, that individual will see that they're not getting results, their pocket's getting drained, and then they just will leave that trainer. You know, but if you're honest and straight and learn fitness and know what the heck you're doing, then you can build and structure, and don't worry about losing that client, because if you're a good trainer, you can always get other clients. I never had any problem. Anybody who knows me, you can ask him, and a lot of people that is going to watch this, they were my old they trained, you know, they were either a trainer with me or they worked with me in either Bally's or Lifestyles or Powerhouse gym. No, you can go, buddy. No problem. So, you know, uh, uh, those people, they literally work with me and they will tell you that I'm 100% telling the truth. And one of the main reasons, as I was saying, that I was so successful in that industry is because I really cared about people and I build and design and structure it for them, so for them to follow. And that's why I have so many testimonials. And then, you know, before the phones and all that stuff came out, they used to just write it. I mean, I have so many letters that people wrote exactly, but at that time they didn't have no beeper, they didn't have no phone, they didn't have none of that stuff, you know. And unfortunately I couldn't document it the way I wanted it. But later on, you know, when all that stuff came out, I was the director of Powerhouse. Just in that 2 year or a year and a half that I worked for them, I probably did over 150 testimonials in that short period of time, which every single one of them got 100% result is what I promised them. So that's about it. May God's peace and blessings be upon all of you wherever you're at. I know this is a fitness channel and people, you know, those who don't believe in the creator, they probably don't want to hear that, but I am. I'm very religious and I believe in God above all, above everything and anything else. So peace and blessing. I hope you guys are staying healthy. Thanks.